Hello everyone, my name is Alexandra Sodilovsky. I am a BI expert and the Looker Guild Master at AppsFlyer. And today I'm going to talk about how you can get better insights from petabytes of data. I'm walking you through the example of AppsFlyer and how we did it. So we will start from a little bit intro about AppsFlyer, and then I'm gonna explain a bit about our data sources and the structure of our data. And then we're gonna dive deep into the BI's team responsibilities and what we do to provide better solutions and better analytics to our internal departments. And we're gonna talk about the challenges that we faced during this way and the solutions that we came up with using Looker and the LookML and the modeling layer. AppsFlyer is a mobile attribution and marketing analytics platform that provides end-to-end mobile solution for marketing performance. It's based on tracking functionality, and we measure everything from impressions and clicks, installs, purchase, and every KPI that you can think of. So actually, AppsFlyer located in between the advertisers and the agencies and the partner and the users, and we really collect all the information to provide the marketers end-to-end picture to what's going on in their campaigns. So as a result of all this work, we provide detailed insights across every media source and every KPIs that you can think of in terms of performance metrics and in terms of marketing KPIs. They have a really nice dashboard of all the data aggregated, and they can really see what's going on. So in order to be able to provide all those insights, we are collecting a lot of data, really huge amount of data. So we process about 100 billion events on a daily basis. We store in AWS 90 terabytes of data on a daily basis, and we have also a BigQuery database where we have about 40 petabytes of data till now, and the annual growth of all of this data is twice and a half in a year, and it's quite a lot of data to process and save. And a little bit about our data sources and how much data we need to analyze actually. So we have the big data database. We keep the raw data traffic, which is huge amount of events on a daily basis. We are using predefined views on this data to be able to analyze it much quicker. And of course, we use aggregated data to provide the insights and the analytics to our customers. We also use the AWS and S3 data store for our aggregated traffic data. We save it in a Parquet format, and then also we join this data to other internal business data, and we use Athena on top of those Parquet files to be able to analyze them. And we also use AWS RDS data store to save different internal data such as Salesforce data, Jira, and Zendesk data to be able to join this data to all our traffic later and to be able to provide a full picture for our internal departments of what's going on in the company. And in the last 2.5 years, we use Looker as our main BI platform for all our very various business needs in the company. So there are very different business needs and business KPIs that we need to measure ourselves as a company to provide better solutions and better product to our customers. So of course, product managers use Looker a lot to really analyze the product and understand where we want to take our product next. Of course, measure the product use. We want to know how our customers use our product and what we need to fix maybe and what we need to add for them. And of course, the R&D. R&D is a whole world of analytics. They measure the product, they measure themselves as a group, as a team, as a unit, to understand how we can perform better. And of course, all the business departments, CSM and sales and finance and operations and even and HR and etc., all departments use Looker today as our BI platform, and all of them have a really different business needs and business KPIs. So we have our BI team, which is responsible for a lot of things, and we have a really wide variety of roles in our BI team in order to be able to provide very custom solutions for our data needs. So we manage our data sources and data stores, everything that we have in the company, from the smallest one to the biggest one. Everything is managed by the BI team, and we make sure everything is available in Looker for analytics. And of course, on top of it, Looker administration, everything that's related to permissions, and connecting Looker to SSO, which is Okta in our case, and providing data governor, and providing user attributes, and etc. There is a lot of administration work in Looker to really provide analytics solutions in a best way. We write our own ETLs. We have full stack developers. We have data engineers in our team. We have BI developers and administrators. And we really write custom ETLs according to our needs and to our end user business needs. So we use Spark and we use Python and other codes to really write those ETLs. And of course, we need to support Looker developers. Currently, we have about 60 analysts from different departments in our teams, which I will explain a bit later. But we need to support them and really provide them the infrastructure in order to be able to work in Looker and provide the best insight to their departments and the business teams. And we use kind of self-serve BI approach in our team. We think that this approach is very useful and very handful in order to be able to not to create a bottleneck in the BI. So we don't create dashboards and reports, almost don't create, because we have a lot of analysts that do it, and we think we just need to provide an available data that is accessible in Looker, and from that part, they are taking it to the dashboard. And of course, our main goal eventually is to provide one source of truth to all AppsFlyer company analytics solutions and needs, and to be able for them to just work with the data, and the data will be accurate as much as possible. So in terms of the challenges, we've been working very hard in the last 2.5 years to really build all this Looker solution and platform. And we are facing a couple of challenges during this period. First of all, very, very quick growth of the company. So we've started from 200 users in Looker in about 2 years ago, and now we have more than 800 users, Looker users, active users that log in almost every day and use Looker on a daily basis. So it was a really quick one and a quick growth. From almost no front-end BI to Looker with hundreds of users in less than half years, it was quite challenging. And as you know, once people get data and get analytics, they just want more and more and more. So we needed to provide the infrastructure and to be able to provide them all this data. New business departments that was added to AppsFlyer. 2 years ago, we've started almost like a startup company, a small company that was growing up, and now we have almost 1,000 employees, and almost all of the employees have Looker user with, of course, different permissions and different needs, but today all the company uses the tool, and we need to support it. And of course, in terms of developers and analysts, we've started from 5 analysts about 2 years ago, and today we have about 25, 30 analysts. All of them are Looker developers. We need to support all of them in terms of training, provide them the relevant data sources, provide them the relevant projects and models and permissions in Looker. So there is very much going on in terms of supporting all this system to be working on. And we also going with the approach of decentralized BI analytics solution. It means that we have analysts in different departments, business departments. So the analysts are not part of the BI team. They work with their business unit, and they know very well the KPIs and the business needs of this certain department. So it's really quick win for us to provide the data modeling and the data sources, and they're just starting to build the model in Looker on top of this data and provide the KPI, develop the dashboards and the reports. So one of the solutions that we came up to help us go through all those challenges was the Looker Guild. So the Looker Guild is an association of Looker-obsessed people at AppsFlyer. So we picked up a representative, a guild member from each department, analytics department from different business units, a Looker developer that is very well known with Looker, that worked with Looker for the last 2 years, that know very well LookML, and they know very well what they need to provide. So we picked up those analysts and we created a guild, a Looker guild, and now we have the guild member and the guild master. So they are like in between the BI team and all the other business and analytics team, and they really help us to provide a better solution and to work in a more efficient way. And let's see how they do it. So we took a part of our BI team responsibilities and we really spread it to the Looker Guild members. So first of all, of course, the responsibility is to optimize the interface between the BI team and the analytics team. To keep Looker one source of truth for all the AppsFlyer, we want our KPIs to be really aligned between different teams. We want them to be our data guards and the Looker tech leads. So, of course, they help us to implement new features, new LookML stuff that we want to implement throughout all the Looker developers. And we started to make sure the best practices implemented, because we think to provide a better modeling way, it's very important to provide, to keep the best practices implemented. And they are opening the content permissions across all the company because they know very well what dashboard should they open to each department. And they help us onboard new users in every team and in every department in different business units. And we have a Slack community of all our Looker developers, and they are answering questions to team members. Of course, besides the web community and besides the Looker chat support, we have our internal AppsFlyer support for certain questions that people asking during the developing process. And of course, defining the business logic and the definitions of all the KPI, each one of them relevant to their own department, which is very critical and help us a lot to really provide a better data solutions. So in addition to this Looker Guild that we've came up with, in terms of Looker project structure, we also did some changes and something that is helping us today to maintain all this system. So as I said before, we have analysts in different teams who are Looker developers. So we have, each team has his own Looker project, and we also have mutual Looker projects for teams that work on the same business KPIs or business data. For example, Athena database, which is a database that all our developers work with, and all our traffic data is located there. We want to give them all permissions, like a cross project, so they will work together on this. And there are some projects, for example, like marketing, like support, who have a really different business needs, and they work on a separate data set, so they have their own projects. So it's kind of a hybrid combination of working in different and in mutual projects, and it's working really well. In addition, we have a new department at AppsFlyer, a business analytics department, who is now responsible for defining the cross-business KPIs and to make sure they're all aligned between the different teams. So we also have like a KPIs for each team that are defined by the analyst and the Looker Guild member. And we have the business analytics that is responsible for the cross-company KPIs. And we have a BI Hub project in Looker that is very useful for us as we use it as a base project, and we put there all the base tables that are created as a result of our ETL processes, and then we extend those tables for the different projects and to the different teams and allow them to build the business logic and the KPIs on top of the base tables that we provide. And I just want to show you a little example of how it looks like. So in terms of the project structure, as you can see on the left side, we have many different projects named accordingly to the business needs or the business unit that is the owner of this project, or anything else that is a meaningful name for us. And as you can see also in terms of the different folders for the visualizations and for the dashboard, we also manage those folders in terms of the business team that is the owner of this folder, and they create a content according to this business unit needs, and they are responsible to providing permissions to all the relevant departments in Looker and in AppsFlyer. And also we have different folders for cross KPIs, for cross-company KPIs and for cross-company projects such as COVID, for example, that we did just recently in the last couple of months. So this is open company-wide. Another approach that we are working with, and it was suggested by Looker to us, so it's called Hub and Spoke Architecture, and this BI project is a part of this Hub and Spoke Architecture. So this one means that we have a central BI team that is responsible for all the base tables and the base projects and to provide this data. And then we have different business units and business teams that are working with those projects and with this data. And we have our Looker members that are the data governor and the data guards of this extended data in the different projects. And then, of course, we have the end users who are the business users that are really using those dashboards provided by different developers. So in addition, in terms of the LookML, we make sure we really implement the best practices, and of course we consulted a lot with Looker about it, and we want to make sure we are really taking the maximum and the best out of this product. So they have a lot of best practices that they are recommending to use, and we have started from a training to our guild members and then to our guild developers to really see what is the gap that we have in terms of Looker modeling the language. Maybe we need to learn some stuff, maybe we need to change something in the modeling that we are doing today. So we've started from using extends and refinements, and this is really took our Looker modeling into different layer and to different level of usage, because we have the base tables, we are not reusing code, we are not writing same again and again and again. And if we need to change something in our logic or in our KPIs, we have one place that everything written in there, and then we just extending it. So changing it in the base, and all the company see the same results. It's a really great for developing different models and providing it to different business teams. And we use a lot the caching mechanism of Looker, because with all of these amounts of data, it's really hard for us to provide a better performance. And it's a real issues using Athena and BigQuery with petabytes of data. So we use data groups and triggers and the persist with in order to be able to edit how much time we wanted to cache to be saved in the memory or in the certain table that Looker queries, or we want to be able to trigger Looker to search for a new update of the table once the ETL done and we have a new data in the table. And we use persisting derived tables a lot, so it really provides us the ability to work on a materialized views actually that Looker creates itself from our views and from our data and save those results aside and enable us to really gain the performance using the PDTs. And of course, something we can't forget about, the LookML. We're trying to create as much sustainable and maintainable as possible, also for our new employees and developers that are coming, for them to be able to understand what was written before and what is the logic that was implemented, so they can continue to work in it. And a positive user experience. I think this is one of the most important things for BI users, is to really have a tool that they can rely on, that is really useful for them to use, that is really comfortable for them. And I think the most important stuff is to understand what they see. What is the data that they see? We've started to use much more labels and descriptions on top of our extents to be able to really provide some insights about the content and a lot of metadata about the data, so just the users will see what do they get. So also in terms of the LookML, we use a lot of derived tables for aggregating the data to a different level of granularity and to use a predefined views with the materialized views on top of them in order to be able to just analyze the amounts of data in a better performance. And also we want to pre-join all the traffic data that we gather from our applications, from our customers, to be able to join it to some business data that we collect inside the AppsFlyer, such as Salesforce and the Jira and the billing and the Zendesk, all the data. And we want to create one big picture for our departments to be able to see the full analytics. And in terms of performance, the dashboard performance, basically, we're trying to limit the elements, the amount of elements that we put in the dashboards. It's really helpful to provide better performance in the dashboards. And we try to avoid data sets, as I said before, the persistent derived tables and the derived tables and the pre-joined views. Everything is for measuring the data in a better way, in a better performance way. Of course, we use filters a lot. We're always trying to analyze sliding windows of data with the filters and using partitions as much as possible. And we are warming the cache at the morning before our users waking up and opening Looker with the dashboard. We're just scheduling the dashboards and pre-run them early morning, so they are just getting the results in seconds from the cache. Another great thing that we are using in order to provide this data governance, there is a lot of data that is restricted to expose to all the users, revenue data, some maybe billing information, and we use access grant to provide a different kind of data access to different users, maybe in the same dashboard or maybe in a different dashboard, but it gives us a variety of exposure of different data that we want to show. And lastly, one other great tool that is really useful for us, this is the Looker System Activity Dashboards, and it's a very handy and useful tool to see what's going on in your system. We measure our user activity, we measure the content activity, we see what's going on in our database, where we have a gap maybe in some performance issues, and maybe there is an old content that we need to delete, or maybe there is an unengaged department that is not using Looker or Dashboard so much. And of course, we create custom reports from the System Activity Explorer in order to provide our different departments and analytics different ways to see how we perform as a BI team and as a data provider. And that's pretty much it. Everything I wanted to share with you. Thank you for watching.